Yeah, until the use happens. Until we start. 9:30.
Okay, good morning and welcome to the Commissioners' Work Session for August 6th. Before we start, we have 3 amendments to the work session proposed. We'll start with adding 10B, and I would move to add ratification of the payment of the St. James Haven for the 2025 Affordable Housing Allocation amount of $8,996.92. That was to finish a water issue and project they had, and also me.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Chris, you want to do 12?
Sure. I would move to amend the agenda to include item 12A, the ratification of the contract of attorney Andrew Vitalo to take cases with the Public Defender's Office. This is a budgeted item.
I'll second.
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And item 13 is from the Commissioner's Office. It's to approve the copier maintenance supply agreement with Hagen Business Machines for the Commissioner's Office. It's one Toshiba printer, and I send it. Properly moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so we'll start with adult probation.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning,
Morning,
Trevor.
Trevor.
Seeking approval to create a per diem position within the Adult Probation Pro Department that would carry the title of probation aide. To explain that further, this would be a non-union per diem part-time position. This would help alleviate the need I have filling 2 officer positions right now. A probation aide is a professional who works under close supervision to learn policy and apply principles and techniques of probation pro work. They supervise and counsel individuals sentenced by the common pleas judge within Pennsylvania. The work conducted would mostly be officer-related duties as it relates to assuring sentenced individuals adhere to their court order and case plans. Those duties would include intake, payment plans, payment tracking, office interviews, urinalysis collection and drug testing, phone call compliance checks, report writing, and delivering documentation to multiple county offices and possibly testifying in court on behalf of the probation pro department. A probation aide job duties are reflective of what a probation pro officer would do on a day-to-day basis, but restricted as it would relate to arrest and seizure scenarios. Duties conducted would help ensure sentenced ARD individuals or convicted criminals sentenced to probation sentences or released on parole that they obey the law and lead a lifestyle in compliance with court orders and supervision plans. This is really me thinking outside the box to get interest in coming to work in adult probation. I've had an opening for a while now and getting interest, and we have that opportunity at this time.
And I assume you're looking for someone in the criminal justice program currently, correct?
Correct.
So this could be essentially onboard, depending on circumstances, into a full-time position.
Correct.
That's my feeder
Onboarding
program.
into full-time, and I don't want to box it in right now because I know that the warden and the sheriff have both had success in filling needs with retired individuals that have come back, possibly. I'm not saying that's my scenario in
Sure.
this, but if that position exists, then maybe in the future, that could be an option to use to fill needs at a per diem rate for the
Okay.
county.
Any other questions for Trevor? All right, thank you. Warden Greenfield?
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Jack.
This morning I have 2 items. Item A is approve the payment to WebJamming for our annual software. That's our JMS system. Cost of support is $15,000. Support covers a period from 8/1/25 through 7/31/26.
Okay.
Secondly is ratify the invoice from Howix Motors. Annual inspection for the Explorer needed 4 new tires. Cost of the inspection with the tires was $1,143.34, and this is not a budgeted item.
Clerk of Courts? Scott, you want to handle it?
They want to proceed to order an HP LaserJet Pro MFP 4101 black and white printer with fax and 1 HP 148X black original LaserJet toner cartridge. Totals $854. The cost of the printer and the toner cartridge will not be paid from the general fund, the funds held by the clerk of court's office.
Okay.
So,
Are you prepared to take questions on the
Questions?
yes.
You prefer the 148X?
Yes, there's the pros and cons. Actually, I kind of do have a little bit of a follow-up. Would this be in reference to the records improvement fund? Would
I would believe, yeah, the
Okay.
funds in question are the records.
Okay.
records
Her own
Her
account,
specific-
not
Not
the,
this.
Okay.
it's her separate account.
Right.
Would there be any place else that money would come from?
Could come from the standard fund, but we
Yeah,
wouldn't
no,
need
we'd
to
have to
for
have a
that.
meeting for that.
IT,
IT's here to ratify the purchase of 2 Dell laptops from HR from Dell for $2,366.14. This is not a budget item.
okay,
Next, ratify the purchase of a black box server switch for ITS from CDWG for $1,680. This is not a budget item.
okay,
And finally, request to purchase 5 Cisco phones from Ahead for $945.44. This is not a budget item.
the only question I'd have is, we did try the handset, which some people like.
Yeah.
The handset is just hooks to your computer and actually is just like a phone. The nice thing about it is, and Courtney would attest, it is much easier to transfer phones through the WebEx program than it is through the actual phone system. So if some of those people want to try one, Terry does have a couple to try. It would be worth them to try. It just sits on your desk. I mean, it's a lot nicer than trying to
Works pretty
transfer a phone.
A few of these are actually replacing spares that have been distributed to some of the
Right,
communities.
yes.
So we would have to get a couple anyway.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you, the
Yeah.
people we looking
And I
for.
did talk to Denise, who's actually trying out one of those, and she likes
Yeah.
it. However, she did mention sometimes her computer's not on and the phone rings, and then
Okay.
Would there be any objection to ratifying this week?
That's what I was
Sooner, or is
hoping.
that kind of what you'd like to
You know,
do?
I would like to ratify this
I
one
don't have any
too,
objection.
and then I'll just put that in the full session.
You're okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, courts.
Good morning. We're seeking to have signed and ratify a one-year service agreement with Hagen Business Machines for the copy machine for level 3, the judicial center. That takes effect tomorrow.
Okay. Director Beveridge.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
Asking to approve the payment of $3,874.50 to Target Solutions for the renewal of our QA and training tracking software. It's a budgeted expense. We're also looking to pay the Scobell Company $1,612.70 for replacing 2 of the air conditioner unit pumps in the server room. And that was not a budget expense for the
Okay.
Items 3 through whatever are just refigured quotes to meet threshold limits. Item 3 is to approve the quote for recycled driveway excavation at Sugar Lake Tower at a cost of $23,795. Item 4 is to approve the quote for the driveway culvert and entrance construction at the Sugar Lake Tower site at a cost of $23,765. Item 5 is to approve the stormwater drainage work at the Sugar Lake Tower site at a cost of $23,790. While item 6 is to quote the provision of a gravel driveway and pad at the Sugar Lake site at a cost of $23,775. And item 7 is to spread fertilizer, lime, and grass seed at a cost of $23,725. And finally, item 8 is create of a stormwater dry well and leach field at the Sugar Lake Tower site at a cost of $23,700.
Any questions? All right. Maintenance.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to ratify approval of invoices from the courthouse remodeling project, and this is for courtroom number 3 from the Home Depot for $92.23.
Okay.
Next, ratify approval to pay Rave Environmental Systems Incorporated to install a new SRT sensor in the RTU1 at the courthouse for $1,121.59.
Okay.
Item C, ratification, approval to pay Scobell Company to replace the flow switch on the chiller unit at the Judicial Center for $2,123.65.
Okay.
Ratify approval to purchase a sensor for the HVAC at the Judicial Center, and that's for $652.83, and this is a backup just to replace when it goes out again, so we don't have to wait to order it.
Okay.
Next ratification, approved to pay invoice for Wilkinson Aggregates Incorporated for riprap for the parking deck for $979.65. Ratification of an invoice for Trace Lawn and Landscaping. This is hinges for the fairgrounds for $608.46, and this will be reimbursed by the fair board that has passed through.
Okay.
Next, ratify approval to pay invoice for Sunbelt Rentals for a 60-foot man lift for the use of the fairgrounds for $1,210.05, and this will be reimbursed by PA Comp.
Commissioner Wiederstein was strapped in that the other day, I saw.
I saw some pictures. And last, ratify approval to pay invoice to Russell Standard for extra crack sealing at the jail for $7,400.
Okay. Any questions for maintenance? Planning?
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
The first item, we're requesting approval of a resolution. It would be for committing the county to partner with Penn Northwest on a regional initiative with the Northwest Commission for Regional Talent Attraction and New Resident Recruitment Program. Penn Northwest is applying for an Appalachian Regional Commission Area Development Grant. The commitment would be for $67,500 from Crawford County. Of that, $58,500 would be for a cash value, and the remaining amount, the $9,000, would be in-kind contributions of local businesses. This would be for using the Make My Move initiative that has been discussed at the regional levels.
Okay.
Next item is request approval of a payment for Ferguson Construction Company in the amount of $1,080 for training wages. This is paid for out of the whole home repair program.
Okay.
We're also asking for approval to pay Vogue Heating and Cooling in the amount of $1,600 for their training wages. It is paid for out of the same program. We're asking to ratify approval of a whole home repairs contract between Crawford County QRS and homeowner number 31 for a whole home repair grant repairs in their home. And then we are asking to ratify approval of 3 application fees for NPDS permits for demolition of 110 Canfield Street in Cambridge Springs. The total of those application fees is $2,000 and is outlined on the agenda for each of the 3 different applications we have to submit.
Okay.
And then finally, we're asking approval to ratify approval of a resolution authorizing the execution of the county's ARC grant contract totaling $764,196, as well as directing the planning office to work with our local partners to administer the programmatic elements of the grant.
Okay. Any questions for Zach? Human Services?
Morning.
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 Requesting approval of the Child Welfare Information System Data Sharing Agreement for the period October 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2026. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 Human Services Block Grant Plan. The Human Services Block Grant Plan is a document that's completed yearly and submitted to the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services. Crawford County has identified 3 priorities for the upcoming year: supporting single fathers, the affordable and safe housing, and community response to individuals in crisis. Requesting approval of the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency grant application for the Child Advocacy Center for 2026. The grant will be used to fund the following items: family advocate position currently being filled by Samantha Egger, membership fees, and supplies related to the CAC. The grant will cover the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. We have requested $47,000 through this grant. The requested funding amount is fully state funded with no county match. Requesting approval of the C3 amendment to the fiscal year 24-25 MHID contract with the ARC of Crawford County for companion and rep payee services. There's no overall change in funding. We're just moving funding between line items. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 CYS contract with Appalachian Youth Services for sex offender treatment, transitional and independent living program, and the work experience program. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 CYS contract with Children's Aid Society of Mercer County for foster care and the Creating Foundations program. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 CYS JP contract with Community Specialist Corporation doing business as the Academy for residential, shelter, specialized settings, drug and alcohol, and the Enhanced Support Program. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 CYS JP contract with Keystone Adolescent Center for residential, specialized setting, transitional living, diagnostic and one-on-one counseling program. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 CYS contract with the Children's Home of Pittsburgh for foster care services. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 JP contract with White Deer Run for the Cove Secure, Cove Prep, and the 2-week diagnostic programs. Cove Secure is a new program for this fiscal year. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 mental health contract with Family Services and Children's Aid Society of Venango County for the Student Assistance Program and Family-Based Mental Health Services Program. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 mental health contract with the Grapevine Center for county and Carillon-funded consumer family satisfaction team surveys. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 professional contract with Center for Family Services for case management, rental assistance, and food pantry services. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 professional contract with Crawford County Court-appointed special advocates. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 professional contract with Crawford County Drug and Alcohol Executive Commission for student assistance program and prevention specialists. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 professional contract with Crawford County Mental Health Awareness Program for emergency shelter and case management services. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 professional contract with Crawford County School of Adult Education for adult education. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 professional contract with the Titusville YMCA for Tiny Footsteps and the after-school summer programming. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 professional contract with the United Way of Venango and the Titusville region for the Center for Financial Independence Program. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 professional contract with the United Way of Western Crawford County for management of the Vision Project and forensic person-centered contingency funds and administrative fees. The United Way of Western Crawford County is the fiscal oversight for 2 separate programs. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 professional contract with Women's Services for the Greenhouse and the Child Abuse Awareness Program. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 25-26 professional contract with the Young Women's Christian Association of Titusville for case management, rental assistance, and St. James House Shelter. And have the following same rates as prior year contracts for fiscal year 25-26. CYS-JP contracts with Benchmark Family Services for foster care, Center for Family Services for in-home counseling, parenting education, the loss of child program, homemaker education, anger management, and the peer support advocacy program. Family Services and Children's Aid Society of Venango County for individual and group psychotherapy, and mental health IDEI contracts with the Center for Family Services for the Special Outreach Services program.
Any questions for Sue? You had to finally get one of them in there. It's been a while since you had a big long run.
I'm hearing one more big one.
Oh, great. Finance?
Good morning.
Hello.
For your approval, I have the following invoices. The first is to Community Health Services. It's invoice number 189. It's the June 2024-25 MATP trips in the amount of $66,670. The second is to the Penn State Extension. It's their third quarter budgeted appropriation for 2025 in the amount of $20,000. The third is to, it's Erie Bank, and it is the approval of the credit card payment contract so that we can start accepting credit card payments online.
Okay.
Um,
And then
Some of
10B,
that.
if you do that.
Yes, and then for ratification, we have in St. James Haven, it's the 2025 Affordable Housing Allocation in the amount of $8,996.92.
Okay. Any questions for Stephanie? Thank you. The treasurer with an R.
Good morning. Asking for approval to pay City of Meadville for the 1/3 share of the city treasurer's office wages. This is for the collection of the county taxes from 1/1/2025 through 6/30/2025, in the amount of $21,646.09, and it is a budgeted item. And also to approval to pay City of Meadville for the half share of postage and mailing of the real estate tax bills. 1/1/25 through 6/30/25 in the amount of $1,222.19, also a budgeted item.
Any questions for Christine? Chris, will you handle 12?
Sure. So again, to repeat prior, this will be the ratification of contract with Attorney Andrew Vitalo to take cases on behalf of the Public Defender's Office, and this is a budgeted item.
Okay, any questions for that? Courtney for 13?
Approve the property maintenance and supply agreement with Hagan Business Machines of Meadville for the Commissioner's Office to choose the contract.
Okay. Any public comment? Commissioner comments, Commissioner Seal,
Nothing today, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner Shell.
Yeah, it's fair time and festival time. This week is Cochrane's Fair. This coming weekend is the Titusville Oil Heritage. And then we kind of get a week off, and then it's the Crawford County Fair.
Always, yeah.
Hard to believe it's fair time again, so come on out and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, Scott said he was cleaning potatoes.
I scrubbed potatoes last night with Cochrane's. That was my job.
I just wanted to take note, I do appreciate a lot of the follow-up for the mental health issue at the jail that we're dealing with. The prison board as well as I hope adult probation will be interested in this meeting. The courts, Judge Pitaro, district attorney, we are all scheduling a meeting at the end of the month to talk about it. To Jack's point today, before he left, I appreciate his comment. We really need to have action. Like this is not something that the state or federal government's going to fix. We're going to have to do it. We're going to have to work as a county to help alleviate some of those concerns at our jail. So I'm looking forward to that. We've got some models to look at to see what else we can work. But to Jack's point, I want to make sure it's a productive meeting. I hope that we can find some solutions because it is a crisis that there is nobody coming to save us. So we got to either figure it out ourselves, make a change, or we're going to have a hard time recruiting correctional officers in the future if we don't. So I appreciate everybody who's offered some time up to do it, but it's a very important meeting. So we will definitely be following up after that. If there's no other business, we will see you next week. Thank you.